What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Existential Stoic Podcast, quick fix number 7. I'm Randy with Danny.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, Danny. Today's episode, we're talking about how to think critically.
Oh, this is so important.
Why?
Because so many people don't think at all.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And thinking critically is more important than just thinking, because it gives you the time, the perspective to actually evaluate what you need to do.
Yeah, and I think, that's a good point, right? There is a difference between thinking and thinking critically, because thinking critically is really going in depth into the question.
Yeah,
it's
like
really
thinking,
looking at it.
You could you could be wishful thinking, you could be fearful thinking. But thinking critically is actually thoroughly evaluating it and really taking a look at it.
And really problem solving is thinking critically,
Definitely. So today's episode, we're going to keep it short for you guys so you can just have something brief to listen to, but we're going to go through a few ideas each.
We'll get there.
How to think critically. So, why don't I start today?
All right.
So my first thing for critical thinking is gather information before making decisions. So a lot of times we make decisions kind of in haste, and doing that, we oftentimes don't have all the answers, all the information, and oftentimes we kind of jump to conclusions about certain things because we don't have all the information.
Yeah, I really like this one that you came up with, because doing the research and understanding what we're dealing with is, really, that's understanding the problem. You need to know the problem before you can actually think about it, right? And before you can even solve it.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
know
great.
The problem before you try and solve it.
Yes, it's crucial.
All right.
So for my first one, and these are in no particular order, I have always check multiple views and perspectives. So one of my favorite philosophers, Nietzsche, he called convictions prisons. And basically what this means is, when we think we know the answer, when we always think we know what's right, when we always think we know the direction we should go, we fool ourselves all the time, and we make bad decisions because we're never really looking at the options that are available. We're never looking at what's out there. We're never looking at it from a different perspective. So we're never, thinking outside the box, if you want to use that cliched paradigm, right? We're never going beyond what we know. And we're never really exploring new things. I think that's crucial.
Yeah, that's a brilliant point. It's so brilliant because it's almost very closely related to my second one. That's challenge your own beliefs and don't fool yourself, because you're the easiest person to fool. We so often get caught thinking that the way that we see things is the way that everybody else sees things. And it's further emphasized by just the search paradigms that are used nowadays on the internet, where everything that you look for will be found, or everything that you like will turn up in your searches.
I'm glad you brought this up too, because in our last episode we also talked about victimization, and a lot of that is about justifying and validating what you already think rather than going beyond it. And I think this is a great one, because if you don't really check yourself, you'll never really get beyond that. You'll always be validating bad information or bad ideas.
Great.
All right, so my second one, I have ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask difficult questions, because I think this is one thing we're so afraid of failure sometimes, and we're so afraid of other people's opinions. Even, when it comes to ourselves and thinking through problems, we don't ask the right questions, or we don't ask difficult enough questions to actually find the right solution for us.
That is a great point, because they say if you want better answers, ask better questions.
Yeah, right? And if you don't ask questions, you also put yourself in a position where you're not going to really you're not going to know if it's right for you, or if you're doing it for the right reasons. You might be doing it because you feel obligated or something like that.
And plus, questions are like a way for you to find an answer. I love, one of the books I talk about all the time is Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because he says, don't say I can't afford it. Say, how can I afford it? By asking a question, you can start finding answers.
Well, you frame it in a positive way, that I just need to work it out, rather than I can't do it. Yeah.
Boom. So my next one is finding evidence. And evidence is in both role models and also past experiences.
I love this one, yeah.
So when I'm coming up with having to make a decision, to think critically, first I take a look at my role models, like people who I really admire, who have done things that I want to do, and I say, what would they do? And then I take a look at past experiences that I've had where I have succeeded, where I have overcome difficulty, where I have figured out stuff that I need to figure out, and say, hey, I've done it there. I can do it again. How can I do that?
I really like that too, because you're looking both sort of forward looking what other people have done, what can I therefore do, but you're also looking at, hey, look, I've already done this. I'm all right. I can manage. I have confidence in myself, right?
Yeah.
So my last one I have is explore and experiment, try new things. And I think this is really critical to think critically, because if you don't go outside of your own box, if you never sort of like try new things, new experiences, you're never going to think critically, because honestly, you're always working within the same model. And I think this is crucial. You know, if we try new things, sometimes we find either solutions to problems we didn't know exist, or we figure out things about ourselves that we were never aware of. And this is like, I think, one of the biggest things in thinking critically in life.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because we've talked about in previous episodes the explore exploit paradox.
Yeah.
And when you get stuck exploiting what you've already found, it just has a diminishing return. So you need to explore again in order to
get more to leverage, right? Yeah, it's crucial.
Absolutely. So that is pretty much it for this episode, this quick fix, how to think critically. Make sure to check out our full-length episodes every week, where you can listen to us for a full hour. But I'm Randy, and this is Danny.
Yeah, please subscribe and share with friends, family, everybody, right?
Definitely. And we'll catch you later. Have a good one.
Later, Randy.